This story centers on a black woman from an African village who fed a starving and thirsty lioness. Months later, the lioness did something beyond anyone's expectations. In the heart of the African savanna, where the sun relentlessly scorched the earth and the wind whispered ancient secrets through the tall grasses, lived a young lioness named Amani. Her fur shimmered like liquid gold under the sun, and her eyes sparkled with the wisdom of the wild. However, Amani found herself alone, the sole survivor of a brutal poaching attack that had decimated her family. As days melted into nights under the vast African sky, Amani roamed the expansive plains. Hunger gnawed at her belly, and a deep loneliness weighed on her spirit. She sought refuge in the sparse shade of acacia trees, her once vibrant spirit dimmed by the crushing solitude. One blistering afternoon, while meandering through a parched riverbed, her paws sinking into the hot sand, Amani's sensitive nose picked up an unfamiliar scent. Intrigued and desperate for a change in her fortunes, she followed the scent. It was faint, carried on the breeze, but it spoke of something different, something potentially life-changing. The trail led her to the outskirts of a small village. Here, mud huts stood clustered together, encircled by towering baobab trees. As she approached, the scent grew stronger. The villagers spotted the lean figure of the lioness, and fear rippled through the crowd. Children screamed, women gathered their young, and men grabbed whatever tools were at hand. Amani, weakened from days without food and overwhelmed by her loneliness, could only muster a feeble growl. Her intentions were far from harm. She was drawn by curiosity and a faint hope of companionship. Among the villagers, a young woman named Zuri observed the scene from her doorway. Unlike her neighbors, Zuri's heart swelled with compassion rather than fear. She recognized the weariness in Amani's eyes. It mirrored her own sorrow. Zuri had lost her family to a disease that swept through the village the previous season. She knew the pain of isolation, the ache of being the sole survivor. With cautious steps, Zuri approached Amani, holding out a strip of dried meat. The lioness, driven by hunger yet cautious of human treachery, hesitated. Their eyes locked, human and beast, and a silent understanding bridged the gap between their worlds. Amani slowly approached and gently took the offering. Zuri's hand brushed against the lioness's muzzle, and a spark of connection ignited. From that moment, an unlikely friendship blossomed. Zuri began leaving food and water for Amani daily. She would sit near the edge of the village, sharing stories of her lost loved ones, her dreams that stretched beyond the horizon, and her solitude. Amani, in turn, became a guardian of the village. Months passed, and their bond deepened, drawing the curiosity and eventually the respect of the villagers. They no longer saw Amani as a threat, but as a symbol of strength and survival. However, their peace was shattered one starless night when the quiet of the savannah was broken by the sound of approaching vehicles. Poachers, driven by greed, had come seeking the legendary lioness with the golden fur. Zuri, awakened by the noise, rushed outside. She found Amani cornered by armed men. Without a second thought, Zuri positioned herself between the poachers and Amani, her stance defiant. Amani roared, a sound that shook the leaves on the baobab trees, and the poachers faltered. Their resolve waned as they met the fierce loyalty in the eyes of the young woman and her lioness. The confrontation ended quickly. The poachers, unnerved and outnumbered by the now roused villagers, retreated into the darkness from which they had come. The village celebrated their protector, and Amani's legend grew. Years later, the story of Zuri and Amani, the girl and her lioness, became a tale of hope and courage passed down through generations, a testament to the enduring power of friendship and the unbreakable bond between humans and the wild creatures with whom they share the earth.